The following program is rated PG and may contain coarse language and/or mature subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
Birch trees are basically the Swiss Army knife of the northern forest. Almost every part of the tree can be used for something practical. When springtime hits in the Canadian bush, every mountain man suddenly becomes a birch sap addict and connoisseur. Snow's melting, rivers are roaring, and there's perfectly good water everywhere. But no, these guys are out there hugging birch trees like, this is the good stuff, eh? This ain't just any tree. This is the mighty paper birch. A tree so useful, it basically raised half the country. The Canadian First Nations figured this out a long time ago. They looked at this tree and said, yeah, we can live off that. Need a canoe? Birch bark. Need a roof? Birch bark. Need to call a lovesick moose? Birch bark. Need a pot, a basket, or something to boil water in without burning your eyebrows off? You guessed it, birch bark. Heck, it even lights on fire when it's wet, which in Canada is basically a superpower. Out here in the Canadian bush, pronunciation matters, because there's a big difference between birch and the other word. One will build you a canoe and save your life. The other might just take your life. Because out here, if you don't respect the birch, Mother Nature might just substitute a T for the R and tell you to just deal with it. In this episode, we will cover making birch, soda, soap, moose call, fire starting, and a few other things. Last but not least, beer.
And we'll get our little collection bucket going. My plan is to make a little drink with it. So I'll have that coming up soon. So already it's getting pretty full. So I think it's about time to make a cocktail out of this. Put it into here, this little drinking glass, and now I'm gonna go mix the drink. Fresh birch water, just out of the tree. Little Saint Germain. And honey. I've got vodka just in case I want to push it up a notch. Got fresh lime and some clove. So first thing you want to do is basically, yeah, I realized I didn't have a cocktail shaker and I forgot my crushed ice. So I just had to get a little impromptu here and had this old Coke bottle, and did exactly what I needed to do to mix the drink. Okay, then the next thing it says is we need a pinch of clove. Don't have a really good thing to grind the clove with, so I'll do the next best thing. Yeah, that'll do it. Now, in order to chill it, since I don't have the ice, it's going to go in the snow here. Put a spot down there. Do a little bit of bush ingenuity here. Cool that liquid down a little bit. Okay, so sufficiently chilled, mixed. I'm going to go ahead and put it here on this glass. Normally you would have crushed ice in there. Top it off with the birch. Well, we'll see what happens. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, they say. It's a refreshing equinox drink, as they call it. The sap sip. Pretty simple ingredients, and right out of the tree and into my tummy. Cheers. Tell you, a beautiful morning. It doesn't get much better than this in the early spring. Gonna take a drink of the first taste of the Birch sap tea that I just harvested this morning out of the tap cups, and nice little, some nice sweet jasmine, no sugar added. Let's see how it is. Yeah, it's got a great taste to it. A little bit of the wild huckleberry toast jam. I don't know if you can hear all the birds. I haven't ID'd them yet. I'm gonna have to talk to Katrina and let her the ID of what those are. But for some reason, they're getting under the porch and eating something. I set up a little camera. Here's some video of that. Cheers again. So far I'm digging what birch sap can do. Reading up other uses of it. My hope is by when I head out of here tomorrow morning, might be heading out with 4 gallons of it. So plenty of stuff to do. It perishes pretty quick, so I've got it stored in the cold room right now. Get it home, I might have to actually put it in freezer bags and freeze it until I figure out everything else to do with it. Kind of interested to see what the birch beer is like, but we'll see. I've never done birch. I've never done any beer brewing. I've done the mead, and mead sounds like it's very similar to making beer. Basically, you pitch your yeast, let the yeast sit there and chow down and, I guess, fart. Those little carbonated bubbles. And, but hey, we'll give it a shot. So the birch water's heating up, and I'm going to use some of the Made with Love tea. I'm going to put the label and the name of exactly which one it is, so you can enjoy it as well as I do. Here's some of the goodies that are inside that tea. Like I said, I'll get the ingredients of this. It's basically forage, so it's kind of like whatever they find goes in to make the teas. Now, unfortunately, no tea bags, and I don't have a strainer up here, so I'm gonna do the next best thing is put this basically into a paper towel and use that as my tea bag. Just dip it in here. Normally what you want to do is pour the liquid over your tea in a little strainer that can sit there and do it. Now with this herbal tea here, it's a really light temperature you want on there. You do not want hot boiling. It's really at the low end because, you know, in order to get this to steep, you just basically don't want to fry it, so to speak. You don't want to boil it. You'll just lose some of the subtleties because it's a very subtle blend. Okay, so the tea's steeped. It's ready to take a sip of it. And so this is the birch bark with the Made with Love mixture. Yeah, it's another winner. It's a combination of the birch water, but the tea is really good anyway. Okay, so prepping the ingredients for some birch soda. Put about a tablespoon of fresh lemon in there. I'm going to try different amounts of sugar. And as far as the Douglas fir, some with the little buds and some without. So I'm going to have variations just to see what works the best. So we'll know next year what's good. Okay, here it goes. See what happens. Some people say to put the birch water in first and then put your stuff in, but it's hard to judge your height, so I'm going to do it a little different. Do it my way, as they say. So start out with a teaspoon of fresh squeezed. And then this particular one, I'm going to do 1/3 of a cup. What I call the full pine needles on this one, so it's the one that has the little nibby growths on them. I'm going to try it with and without it. I don't know what the difference is going to be. So put that in there. Pack it in. Destroying my beautiful set piece. So this is the birch water, birch sap water that I harvested just about 3 days ago. It says to take it about an inch at the top, so it's got some room to expand and stuff. And then you put the cap on it, you come along and just shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. What this does is dissolves the sugar, and also it's going to get any natural yeast that is on this pine. And I know this particular one has pine pollen in it because these little nibs have the pollen. So said shake it for a while. Yeah, the sugar is going to take a while to dissolve because this water is cold, just right out of the fridge, which you have to keep your birch sap that way or it starts fermenting really quick. Trying to decide if I'll maybe add a little bit more water later. But that's the first one down. There again, these jars have been sanitized, which you'll always want to do. Try to keep your work area as clean as possible. Okay, got all the different variations set up, ready to go. Still need to do a little bit more stirring with the sugar to make sure and get it all dissolved. But one thing I did do is label the top of them, and I have a list of what I did so that I can replicate it in the future. But it's kind of beautiful. It's already got a nice smell, of course. With that lemon in there, it smells like a little bit like lemonade. Which it'll be, but the lemon adds a little acidic acid to the water, which will help the natural yeast start to ferment a little bit. And there again, this really doesn't get a high fermentation. All we're really doing is wanting to get the bubbles in there, which is what, this is a natural carbonation that'll happen here. Basically, even though there's a little bubbles and stuff on there right now, that's not from the fermentation yet, that's just from the shaking. So it'll take a few days. You want to put this in mixed areas where to put it. Some people say put it in the dark areas, some people put it in the sun. Yeah, I'll figure it out, try to make up my mind what I want to do, where I want to put it. Oh wow, that's good. That's really good. It's like, I don't know what it is, but good. It's pretty sweet, but it's got that carbonation, that little bit of a bite to it. All natural fermentation from the natural yeast that was in the fir boughs. A gallon of birch sap water in here, bring it to a boil. Going to add a cup of sugar, let it dissolve, and then once it's cooled down, pitch a little bit of yeast in it. Okay, gonna pitch the yeast. I had some left over from when I made some mead. This will work here for the birch beer. Put it in water, it's warm, it's filtered, so there's no chlorine or something in there. Yeah, put this in, stir it in, and then once it's dissolved, you'll put it into the container here where I still need to put the birch water. It's been boiled and added, some sugar added. Okay, so basically filled it up, pitched the yeast and pre-mixed yeast in there, shook the thing up quite a bit, got the airlock on it. Now it's just gonna be a matter of waiting a few days and see what we end up with here on the birch beer.
Yeah, we got some bubbles, some fermentation going on in the birch beer. It's not as active as when I've made the mead and stuff, but this doesn't have as much sugar and everything else in it, so of course it would be natural to not have as much bubbles or fermentation.
Now it's on to the beer. We'll see how that is. See if we still have the same pop when I open it. Got a little bit of a pop going on there. I'm not sure what the alcohol content of it is. Let's see what it is. Let's see what it tastes like. Well, it's definitely not the same knock you on the butt taste that you get with the soda, because this didn't have the pine and the lemon in it. You know, it's just the sap water and the yeast and the sugar. So it is a beer. It's a very light beer. It doesn't have much carbonation in it. I mean, if anything, it's a little flat, so that tells me that possibly I should have bottled it a little earlier, or maybe the yeast just was not active enough to take it into the next level. But don't get me wrong, I'm going to continue to refine it, try it again, probably next year. This combination stuff, primarily the last thing I was burning in here was birch. There's a little bit of the birch over there. There's actually a little bit more charcoal in here than I'd like, but I'm gonna do a little filtering here. Gonna try to make some lye, and the way to do it is by filtering ash. And oh, hello, Ocho. What are you doing, girl? I know. So what I'm gonna do is gonna use some of the stuff from my wood stove, filter it here to get the fine stuff. Primarily, I've been burning birch, which is a hardwood, which is what you want. There is a little bit of maybe fir in there as well. But oh my goodness, girl. Oh my goodness. You good girl. But I'm gonna give it a shot and see. So I got it pretty filtered now, so I'm going to put a little bit of water in here to let it soak. Saturate. You need to let it soak about 24 hours, and then you'll probably switch it to a container that has a pre-hole drilled in it. So I let this set overnight. Just put the holes in the bottom of the bucket now. I just add a little bit more water, and I'm gonna go ahead and top it up. For the most part, it's settled out here, so I'm going to try to siphon off the water here. I'll have to do an additional filtration. when I get home. Okay, got the ash water in here, trying to reduce it down to make it into lye. We'll see how long it takes to reduce. Ideally, you know you've got it the right consistency when an egg will float, leaving about a little quarter of an open area on top of the egg. This could take a while. Okay, it's taken about 5 hours and finally got it to the point where the egg will float. Give me about that quarter size there, so it should be done. Okay, what it says to do about every 10 to 15 minutes, you want to stir it for a full minute until it's thick. So it's starting to get there, but we'll see what happens. This soap doesn't end up being really a hard bar of soap based upon the lye that's being used. I'm telling the truth there, that's not a lie. And remember, stainless steel, no aluminum. Does not react well with aluminum or aluminium, whatever you want to call it. So make sure and have stainless steel utensils so you're not screwing up this corrosion that would damage it. It's going slow, getting the color it needs, but it's just not getting the viscosity yet. So I'm not sure if that lye was polluted with some of the non-hardwoods up there. Probably was. It was a mixture of stuff, but I thought it was primarily birch. Well, sorry, things happened really quick. So when I put the birch water in there, it really foamed up, and I had to really stir it and to get it back down to keep it from overflowing too much. So we'll see what happens. It should thicken up overnight. We'll see in the morning if we have soap. And well, the soap's done. It's hardened up. It's got a little bit of a buttery texture to it. If you look at it, feels a lot like the shortening or the lard that it was made from, but doesn't have that smell. It has a little bit of the woodsy smell. The key is you have to use really hot water with this. You can't use cold water because it will congeal. So in a pinch, if you need it, you've got it. The one good thing people say is that it gives it a nice moisturizing effect to their hands and stuff, and actually it's really great for that. Just what I need is a Canadian mountain man with soft hands. All of this from 5 gallons of birch sap, and as they said and I've said, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So we'll see. With birch bark, you can harvest it directly off the tree. I personally, for what I might be using this for, I'm going to take this a dead one here. Interesting thing about birch is they die from the top down. So the tops start dying and it just works, the rot works its way down. But this particular one already has, it's towards the base, the bark's peeled back. I'm going to go ahead and peel this off and take this. So I'm not really going to be damaging, not really damaging, but just not going to be doing stuff to a live tree. So I got a pretty good sizable piece here off. Now, what I'm going to do is soak this and end up making a moose call out of it. I already made one. You can see here, this is one I've made already. Works out pretty good for doing the calling. But this has a nice little patina to it and stuff, and it should be fine, even though it's older. I'll see how pliable it gets after it's been soaked. Now this bark here has been harvested quite some time ago. It's pretty old, so you can see this little layer here is what they took, that layer, but they left this behind, and you know, it didn't kill the tree, but you can see kind of the sun damage and stuff that happened from it, and I'm really surprised the tree's still living, but it looks like it's doing fine. So didn't damage it as much as what it looked like. And then there's another one back there that has been done. The indigenous peoples of North America used birch to create foraging baskets and trays, sewing boxes, sap buckets, arrow quivers, watertight cooking pots, folded cups, food storage bags, and even baby cradles known as cradle boards. Birch bark's key properties are antibacterial, waterproof, and flexible when heated. Birch bark has a surprisingly long history in both traditional and modern medicine. Here's a breakdown of its real, evidence-backed, and traditional medical uses. It's been proven to do wound healing. Indigenous peoples in North America use birch bark as a natural bandage for cuts and burns. Modern research shows it speeds up skin repair, promotes new cell growth, and reduces inflammation in wounds. There's actually a prescription drug that now uses birch bark extract to treat serious skin wounds. Bottom line, this is the strongest clinically supported use.
Hey, how are ya? This is chaga. It's found on birch, and I've been told that it's best to harvest when it's below -5 Celsius. It's very beneficial fungus. Folks can break it up and make it into a tea. Yeah, it's good stuff. Nice.
Whether it be wild or human introduced, birch is a great base for growing mushrooms. These down birch logs are perfect if you want to try to grow mushrooms. You need to get I think they're called spores. You have to prep the log for it. And they love it, they grow on it. And it's a nice little extra treat that the birch gives you. Even it's its last dying gasp, it'll still give up something for you to survive off of. Birch bark is like one of the best fire starters you can have. Basically, it's weatherproof, has a long burn time, and gives you high heat. I soaked this birch bark in water for several hours. But as you can see here, when you pull it up, it lights right up and gives you the high heat you need to build that fire to dry yourself out after you've fallen in the creek, kept drinking too much birch beer. Yeah. This here is what makes the excellent fire starter. Just all the resin and oils in it. For all the Superman capabilities of birch trees, it does have its limitations. Its rot resistance is moderate, so it's not great for long-term outdoor structures unless it's been treated. It burns fast compared to dense hardwoods like oak, and some species are short-lived. But overall, that's something you can deal with. Birch tree, my hero. Okay, wrapping up this episode on birch. It's been a very educational process for me. I hope I've brought some insight to the versatility of what a birch tree can do for you. I had no idea until I researched it, but as mentioned, the First Nations knew what this tree can provide, and they learned to respect the tree and just harvest what they need to and not overdo things. This here, this is where some of this sap water had came out of here. It's already starting to heal after the plug is put in there. So that'll seal up, the tree will be fine. It's gonna be leafing out, it won't be an issue. And I'm sitting here drinking this great fir, birch, sugar, lemon, naturally fermented by wild yeast soda. Boy, this stuff is addictive. Highly addictive. I highly recommend it. Get out there, do what you can do. If you're able to get access to some birch trees, put it on your list for next spring. We're starting to wind down here. I just tapped another tree right now to get a little bit more, but it hasn't budded out, so there shouldn't be an issue yet with it. Has a slightly different flavor because it's a little later in the year. So, you know, from a connoisseur standpoint, there's there is a little bit of difference that it will change over time. And I think that's why at a certain point you stop harvesting it and also let the tree get around with this business. Okay, you guys have a great day. I would love it if you subscribe, hit that like button, and stand by for the next episode of Canadian Mountain Man. We got a lot of stuff on the docket, and hopefully it'll be something in that mix that you really enjoy. Spread the word to your friends, and I highly appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. Cheers.
On the damp, peeling surface of a fallen tree, a quiet drama unfolds. These delicate creatures, long-legged and glass-winged, have gathered in what appears, at first glance, to be a simple congregation. But look closer, and a far more intricate story emerges. These are mating flies, drawn together in fleeting unions, dictated by instinct and urgency. Their slender bodies tremble as they connect, each pair locked briefly in the ancient ritual of reproduction. Time is short in this miniature world, measured not in years, but in days. The bark beneath them, softened by moisture and decay, provides the perfect stage. It is here, in these overlooked corners of the forest, that life persists most quietly and most relentlessly. Some individuals wait, poised and patient, while others are already engaged, competing, selecting, ensuring the survival of the next generation. Every movement is purposeful, though to us they may seem insignificant. These tiny lives are threads in a vast and delicate tapestry. One that binds the forest together, unseen yet utterly essential, even here. On a scrap of decaying wood, nature is busy, beautiful and utterly unstoppable.